Welcome everybody to today's Autodesk Community Conversation. This is Hints and Hacks Breaking Down Doors and Windows with Donnia, Tabor-Hanson. I'm Sean Hurley, your host. We'll go to the next, please. Autodesk Community Conversations are events. I'm ad-libbing it here because I do not have my notes because my iPad died. I do use a little prompter in there. But they're expert speakers from the Autodesk community, featuring everything from products such as AutoCAD, Revit, Dynamo. We have a Dynamo session in 2 hours. We have Revit here. We have all different levels from beginner to expert. We have inventor. We have all different industries, industry talks, thought leadership. And you're welcome to suggest your own if you would like to lead one, if you're an expert in a product or something in the industry. Next, please. The fun safe harbor agreement. The safe harbor agreement just simply states that if you make any product decisions, that you make them based on the products as they are today. So, if we talk about a crazy new thing that might be coming to Revit, it's not a promise. We'd like to do that, and we may do that, but don't make your purchasing decisions based on that. And also, Donnia is her own comments are hers and hers alone. Yes. Next, please. Just some little housekeeping here. Lines are muted to reduce the background noise, although we do invite you to turn on your cameras just so we kind of get a feeling of who's here. You even get to see the little light stripes from my blinds coming through. I haven't figured out how to deal with that unless I move my desk, but it is kind of a fun thing to see everybody's faces. You can raise your hand using the Zoom function in the bottom right under reactions, and we'll call on you for questions. And the other is if you have questions, you can also type them in the chat and we'll raise them with the speaker, Donnia, when she has the breaks in the content. The sessions are always recorded, and you'll find the recording on the event page where you register for this, as well as in YouTube. So, and they're usually within the day. So I am Sean Hurley, Autodesk Community Engagement Manager. I am a geeky technologist located in Bend, Oregon. And Bend, Oregon is not in the wet side. I'm on the dry side, the other side of the Cascades, the sunny side. Donnia, so good to see you.
Yes. So I am a Revit expert, Autodesk Expert Elite. I'm also a Revit certified professional. I'm a speaker and speaker mentor, and I am based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And let's get started breaking down doors and windows. Last month we broke down walls, so we're going to break down some doors and windows today. This is the agenda that we're going to go through. We're going to talk about Revit doors and windows not showing, because when I was doing some research on this topic, that was the #1 question that kept coming up. Why are the doors and windows not showing? So we're going to look at several reasons as to why they won't show. When is a window not a window? That one got me. And controlling your swing, I'm going to show you how a simple little thing that you can control your swing. It's been around for years, but you may not have understood how easy it is to build one. Windows and doors and stacked walls and walls that join with each other. When they don't cut, how they can cut, problems when they cut, and if all else fails, just how to open it up. And then another one of the things that I found in the research is they want to have doors that are not hosted by a wall, so that they have a gate or something. And we're going to look at how to do that. And let's dig in with windows and doors that are not showing up. Like I said, this is one of the most asked questions in the forums. I found it in various different titles and things like that. Is how come it's not showing up? And I started looking at some of the reasons, and most of the problems had to do with the height of the window or the door above or below the cut plane, or it had to do with the height of the wall, or maybe the depth of the wall. Sometimes walls go down, and somebody wasn't realizing they were putting one in a structural wall that went down. So let's go look at that. And I got to get my chat group away from my phone. I'll come over here and flip to it. Here I've got just a basic wall. I just went ahead and picked a generic wall. And I've got some doors and window in here. And when I go to an elevation, I've got this little guy is sitting way up there. He's up above the cut plane and he doesn't show up. A couple of things that could be done. And one thing that I have done in the past is when I have things that, not this one. When I've had things that set up above the cut plane, which in case you're just joining and you haven't been with me before, I work in kitchens. I help building families and work with Revit models in kitchens. And a lot of times we have things that go above the cut plane, wall shelves, things like that. The little trick that I have shown to get things that are above the cut plane to show below the cut plane has to do with having something of the model of the family below the cut plane. So this is the window that I opened up, and there is a type, I can't remember which one it was. Nope, not that one. Let me go back over here and look real quick. It is 4818. Okay, so let's just go to 4818 so we can see which one we're dealing with here. Yeah, 4818. And he sits above the cut plane. Come on. There. So he's sitting way above the cut plane. And this is a 3D view. So let's go in and look at the elevation, exterior, and we can see where he is. Well, the thing that I teach is to go in and put something below the cut plane. And I do this with shelves, lighting fixtures, things like that, because we have like heat lamps that hang down and we want to see them in the plan view. So this is something that I do is you go in and you can go to model line and you can pick an invisible line. And what you want to do is make sure that you're placing it on the lowest level, or if the family is built on the level, you can draw a reference plane like 48 inches below and put that, name the reference plane, then put the model line on there. And I'm going to go get the invisible line. I'm going to draw the model line. I'm just going to draw a tick mark of it. Just need about a ½ inch. Check it out. It is on the floor line. So I can just take this and load this back in, and let's see what that does to a window that is above the cut plane. Load it back into this one. Overwrite the existing version. And now there is a window that is above the cut plane, but as you can see, it doesn't look exactly like the other one, even though that's where it's cutting. The cut plane and stuff is up there. So that may not be exactly what you want, but it is a way of doing it. And that little trick, I did a blog post of it. I'll put that blog post link in the chat after today's session. Okay. So let's look at another way. Let's just completely undo that. Just undo that load family. The easiest way to pick on something that is, to find something that is above, is to go into the view and just set yourself up with a crop region in there, that's not a crop, but plan region. And if I put I always do that first. No, I want a rectangle. I will always go get and start with a line because that's what it defaults. And let's say I just put a plan region in here and hope I get it. Let's see. No, maybe not. Maybe it needs to be bigger. Oh, there it is. It's over there. It's over there. Okay, but now we want to get this plan region, and we just all we have to do is edit its cut plane. Let's take its cut plane up to 7'6". Just make that up a little bit higher. Pardon me. And that's not what we expected, is it? When you put in these plan regions, you may have to give them a little bit of room, because see, all I have to do to make it look like this other one is just give it a little more room. It may have been encroaching on the trim work outside of the window that is not shown in plan view or something like that. But all I had to do is just make the plan region a little bit bigger. So that one, when I was practicing this, I'm like, well, why doesn't it look like the other one? I started playing with it, and I realized if I made it bigger, it would do that. You can always bring these in and Now see, I can bring it in here pretty close. But see, there's where it stops. Why do that? So it appears to me like it's getting a little inching into the trim out there. So that one came from my Revit Hints and Hacks. Is your family too high? And I'm going to link that into the chat when we're done here so that you can go. If you have something you want to do that little invisible line trick, I'll show you how to do it with a reference plane below and all that stuff too. But the easiest thing was to just add a plan region. The plan regions don't plot. The line work doesn't plot. It's like having a crop region that doesn't plot. So it's easy enough just to add in and just change that one area to have your plan region change. So that's one of the big reasons they don't show up. But while we're talking about these, did you notice, you got to know your windows front from your back. So I'm going to go back over to Revit, and this window has an arrow, the flip arrow over here. Well, here, this wall also has a flip arrow. The flip arrow always is on the exterior side. So now we know that this window's wrong. So make sure you understand your windows and doors flip arrow. It's easy enough to put a window in and get it going the right direction to begin with. If I just pick on this and I do a CS for create similar and come over here, look here, it depends on which side of the wall I'm picking on, but with a generic wall that has no, layers in it that show up, it may be hard to tell which is your outside, exterior, or inside. So you can either pick on the wall to find out where its arrow is, or if you're in a building, you will be able to see the entire building and know which side the outside is on. But just know that, you need to know where your front and back is to make sure you've got it going the right direction. With doors, the arrows, with doors, the door may swing in, may swing out. It depends on the room, etc. And, you got the flip arrows to flip it back and forth from one way or the other, to flip it the other side of the door. So just a little bit about that. And the other thing I was noticing where people talk about not showing up is they needed to know where the heights were and stuff. You need to understand that you can preview your window when you're editing a type in there. You don't have that preview when you're in a family. Because you're in a family, you can just go to the view and preview it. But don't forget you have a preview when you're working in your projects to go to find a preview. If I wanted to create another type to make sure that I get one that can be through the cut plane or find out where it's going and stuff, I can set, you've got your sill height and things here, but don't forget this preview right here. We do this a lot when we're creating walls and doing all those because we need to preview where the wall layers and stuff are coming up, the stack walls, how things are going, split seals and reveals and stuff have to be seen. But don't forget you can do this with a window or door or any family that you're working on inside a project when you're looking at the type property. So if I wanted to create, duplicate another window and make this one 14 high or something, then I'm going to see what it's doing here by coming down here and saying its height or its width is 0.14, and that's going to be a very narrow little window, but I can see what it's doing up there. And
when you get a second, Donnia, we have a little discussion going on.
And there is. Okay, let me finish this part and then we'll check on that. So here you got your sill height. You can see if you're going to put it up real high, if you want to take it up above 48. Oh gosh, I forget I am not in inches. Working in kitchens, we work in inches. And when you apply that, you see where it can go. And that would be up above the cut plane for most. So don't forget, you can preview that. You can preview it in different views. You can do the exterior, the interior, the floor plan. Let's see, above the cut plane, it's going to show up with just the outline of it. So don't forget, you've got these options. And when you're in a 3D view, you can flip it around and start looking at it also. Okay, so let's look at some of the discussions.
We have a comment. So Beth said, fun thing I learned, just overlapping structural framing with the plan reaching by a little shows the whole beam length. So that was kind of a learning moment that we had.
Yeah.
David, when you were putting in the other window, he asked, can that window be shown with dashed lines? And I said, it might be in Donnia's post. And he said, not invisible in the family, dashed in the plan view. I don't want the high window to look like it's low.
Well, that's an override graphics and view.
Yeah, what Beth said is you could use the line work tool to change the lines to overhead or hidden or whatever you like. If you tab using the line work tool, you can choose the whole window with one click. So there's a little bit of a.
So you're saying I can use the whole window with one click using the line work tool?
That's what Beth suggested.
This is interesting. We're going off script.
Those are the best
get
time.
in trouble.
Oh, come on.
You're using
What's the
detail
worst that
lines?
could happen?
That's what she's using, detail lines.
I
haven't done line work.
She said the line work tool. So modify tab line work tool.
Okay. Oh, okay. You can tell I don't do this much. Line work tool and tab. Yeah, I'm not getting into work. If she sends it to me how to do it, I can write a blog about it, post it back in here and give her credit. Because I haven't used the line work tool in so long.
Yeah, she said just to change the line work to hidden, the line type to hidden. We can work that out later.
Yeah. Line work to
hidden, right?
Hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes. It's yeah, but you're gonna get so few hidden lines because this is such a small thing. Because yeah, I got it. Okay, yeah. So through there, yeah, I hadn't done that so yeah, I always get myself.
Thank you for that tip, Beth.
I like it, but yeah, I would just have grabbed it and just done override and view on the whole thing. Yeah, I tried to tab to hit the whole window and I kept beeping at me. So, okay. So yeah, if she will get with me after this, we'll see about writing something up and putting a blog post about it. That'd be fun. That'd be real fun. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, don't forget your preview in a project. Okay, let's see what's next. Scripted next. Oh, when is a window not a window? Like I say, I work in kitchens. And we'll have a pass-through a lot of times. So we use this pass-through, yeah, because a lot. So you go and you get this instance opening, and we need an opening in the wall for this. And let's just jump over there and see how this works out for me. I've got plenty of wall here. Architecture, window, load family, windows, instant opening, open. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Some of all these families selected are not in the category window. Then why did they put it in the windows? Why is it in? Seriously, why is it in with windows if it's not a window? And this is why my team has so much time. And I say, go get the instance opening and put it in there. And they go, why can't you edit? Well, you have to go get it with this load component. So when is a window not a window? When they tell it, you know, it's put in the windows, but it's not. It's an instance opening that is another type of family. So let's go get component, load family here, open it. And I can see it's a generic model. And then I can put it in here. And we don't even have it named as a 1624 because we want to just basically grab this and put whatever we want. We'll use the measurements in here to give it a width of 6 feet, height of 3, and elevation of 42 inches. And therefore we've got an opening for a pass through. We can then put a countertop on it stuff, but That one drives me nuts because I tell them, well, it's in Windows. And I don't think, well, it's not a window until after they, well, I got this error message. Yeah. Like I said, that was fun, wasn't it? So that's when a window's not a window. When you can't, you have to load it something else, but they still keep it under Windows. And I don't know if it's because they can't figure out where else to put it because it acts kind of like a window. We call it a pass-through window, but it's, yeah, that's not a window. That's not fun to have error messages show up when you don't really need them. All right. The door swing. I think every architectural firm I've worked at, and when I used to work as a reseller, and they used to set up the architectural templates. They would always, can we get it where we change the door swing? Because that 90-degree swing, it takes up a lot of room. Okay, it leaves room for your door call out, but you can also move the door call out in the middle of the door instead of inside the swing. But sometimes it'd just be nice to be able to change the swings. So generally all you need is you build a detail swing to add to the doors. Let's go take a look at that. I'm going to close this. And here I've got one that doesn't have the swing in it, but here I've got one and it's got a swing in it. It says 90 degrees by default. No, I want it at 30. Sometimes that would be nice if you've got a place that's crowded with a lot of notes and everything. It'd be nice to change the door swing. Still keep it there. They look identical. Let me get my thin line off. They look identical and everything. So let me show you what it would take for getting a door swing to look exactly like this and being able to use it. You would start with new. Okay, get the right new. New family. And let's go get a detail item. And the biggest trick to this is if you've not used them before, this is the only thing I ever use a reference line for. Reference lines are good for angles. They will let you set an angle up all day long. A reference plane will not. But then think about it, a reference line is a 2D element. A reference plane is represented as a 2D element, but remember, it's a plane. It goes in the entire direction. So it matters how you draw a reference plane as to which direction the plane is going, whether it's horizontal or vertical or whatever. But a reference line is perfect for doing the angles with. That's the only thing I use it for. So then I go up here and I get a reference line. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the intersection. And I'm going to bring it out this way. Now to keep it at that intersection, I am going to go with a line to this. I'm going to line that dot, the end of that reference line, and lock it. And then I'm going to add a lock here. Now, I'm doing this as something to load in because, frankly, if you were to open the door, family, that sounded funny, you're going to open the door. Now, open the door, family. We can come in here and when you go to a plan view, trying to find, if you put a reference plane in here, trying to find where that point is, what you're loading to, what you're locking to. So I can draw one from here to here, but if I want to align it, to this, tabbing it in, well, that's an extrusion. That's a shape handle. That's symbolic lines. Oh, there it was. There it is. So you have to go, and now it wants to lock it to it. So yeah, that doesn't quite do it for me. So I'm just going to quit this. I'm going to undo everything I've done in this door. So in the reference line area, all I got to do now is I need to add a swing. That's an angle from here to here. Set that parameter. swing. I'm going to make it an instance. If you worked with me for a while, you know everything I do that is something you need to change. I put it under constraints. And then if I change my swing to 90, see, it's going to go. So that's what governs your swing back and forth. So I can go down here and make it 30. And that's what changes your swing for you so that you get that swing going back and forth. Then all you got to do is add your line work. Well, the one thing you want to do is go into, let's close the window. No, I'm done with that. Was this view one? I want to go into the ground floor, and you want to check and make sure what your widths are for your line work, because you want to make it look the same. So this line is panel cut, manage object styles, and my panel when it's cut is a 3. So that's what you want to set in your door swing. So let's just cut to the chase and look at the things you need for the door swing. Let me open the one that I did. Now that I've shown you how, because that's the biggest trick to it all, is getting the reference plane in there. And if I go to here, I've got the door swing done. So I've got the one reference line. I put a reference plane up here. No. Yep, there it is. Then I've got the angle set up, and then I've got the line work done. I put a line here and I just dimensioned it to that, getting my thickness, and my width is set by the angle in here. So once you put the swing in, the line work, you've got that. And I set all of my parameters. Right now they're under dimension, but I'm going to lock them in. And when I load them in, I want to make sure that I link them, and I link them under default. So when you go and get this thing and load them in, let's just load them into project and load them into the single flush door. Yeah, I know, it just rang in my head. Yeah, there we go, none of that. Because the ground floor, you'll want to delete your lines. And here's what can happen. You come in here and you grab this, you filter and link, get rid of those. There's the one you're going to miss. Be careful of that little guy, because that's the one you might miss. Make sure you get him too. And then you've got your detail in here. Bring it in. And you can just line them up. I line them to here and lock in. You can line them up, make sure you tab to get to the front of this, which is a reference position. So you can lock into there. And then you got to just link it. I want to link this to the swing. I'm going to make it an instant parameter so that it can be changed at any time. I don't put it under dimensions. I put all of my things that they can play with under constraints. And that's what my team is used to. So that's where I do this one. And then under here also, I just want to link to thickness and link to width. Load that back in, and it will work the same as the one I did show. So I'm going to leave that right now because I already have the one in here that is showing. This is the same thing. I named this one single flush swing because it had the swing on it. And by doing it as a detail component, you can also load it into any of your door families that you have. And that just makes it easier. So then all I had to do is set that in there, and you can add it to the door, and that shows to all doors, so that shows the swing in all of them, and just link your parameters and add the swing angle. And the swing angle should be an instant parameter because that's what you're setting it up for. Visibility is another option you could add to it if you want to have it where you can turn it on or off, but that's up to you. Okay, here was a problem. Doors and stacked walls. This is so much fun to say, to look at. So The wall thicknesses can make a huge difference when placing doors and windows, because the thing about stacked walls, you do stacked walls a lot because you want to have the different thicknesses. And that really, yeah, it really creates an issue. So what you need to do is look at how the doors and windows are in a stacked wall. So let me do some closing up here. We'll close this family because we were just looking at how to do that. We're good. And I'm going to go into this project. So I've got some stacked walls, and I've got some, yeah, if you want to just do that. I've got some stacked walls, and I've also got some walls that are part one wall up, part another. So here I've got two walls. This is a stacked wall. This is a stacked wall. This is the lower and the upper. And again, a lower and upper. We got problems all the way through here. So let's look at how doors and windows interact. When you put them in a wall like this, it wants to go ahead and cut out both of them. But let's look right now at the stacked walls. It goes in and it takes it out. And I've angled these. I've layered them back a little bit so that I've got some distance in here. Because for one thing, I want to look at the east elevation. Yeah, this one is going to this wall. So it's got a lot of gap on a trim. This one's going to the inner wall. Well, that's the second one up here. And we can see the trim is not being taken care of there. This one's, the trim is working. We'll look at why that is here in a minute. But let's just talk right now about which wall is it in. There's two things you can do when you pick on a wall to look at things. You can look at, pick a new host. This is okay, I'll just go set somewhere else. But you also have, in a stacked wall, you can pick primary host, and yeah, that put that back there instead of out here. That's how that one's back here and this one's out here. This one, if I pick, it's not a stacked wall, but if I pick primary host because it's in two, it does the same thing. And none of this is working. So here it is, and it's working a little bit better, but it's still not quite working. Let's see, for one thing, the stack wall has got a real issue with its seal. Don't let that affect you when you start putting, you don't notice it when you build the wall, but you notice it when you start putting in your doors and windows. So I'm gonna come over here and go to side. This is the, yeah, it's way up here. That's the seal that we're having problems with. So we want to edit this. And since we're in here, let's look at this sweep. It's not cuttable. All we have to do is make it cuttable and see if that fixes some things. And it's wrapping on that, but it doesn't wrap on the sweep. So let's just go ahead and check this out. Does that fix it? Well, that takes it back to the wall. And if this one is primary host here, it's still cutting over, the seal still cuts over the trim. See, this one's on that wall, so yeah, primary host, again, this part. We're not getting much help until we get here. Now this one's working. So we looked at the difference in the primary host and so because wall sweeps add another layer of cutting, we may have to have an issue about a different way to cut it. So I got to looking at some things, and I went and let's just grab this door. No, let's grab this door. Come here, door. Seriously. And I say edit family. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just get a void that's cutting the wall there. So I go into the ground floor and let's go get a void. Extrusion. And let's go here. And got to do it on this side too. So let's go this side. Boom, this is my thought process. And then I go get my view, and I want to bring it around to look at front, and wait a minute, that was on that side. Well, the void's cutting the trim. So you try to get the wall and say, let's cut with this. It doesn't cut the wall. Where it is. It wants to cut the trim. Well, the error came up as being, after a lot of research and trying to do this, the error came up as you cannot have a void cut the wall because the door has an opening that cuts the wall. So I got thinking about that, and this one is working just fine because I got around it by going in and setting up. I don't have an opening in here. I have a void. I took the opening out. You can't have an open. It said the error that I got when I finally got in there trying to do it. It says, and I'm speeding up a little because of time. The error said you cannot cut the wall basically because you have an opening cutting. So I said, fine. Blew out the opening and put this in here. And if I say edit the extrusion, let's look at the plan view. Notice how I brought it out beyond where the trim is, because when I put it in there and this was right here next to the trim, when you look at that wall that's got so much extra thickness, there was this thin layer of the wall that wasn't cut. So I just moved that cut out beyond where my trim was. This is something I believe that is going to be a case-by-case basis, and it's going to be basically used if you're working on stacked walls where you have the varying thicknesses, or you've got something in sweeps and stuff that's going to be a bother. Just take out the opening, create the void, and have it extend beyond where the sweep would be. And therefore, I've got this thing now cutting the wall the way it should. Took it up to the top of the door. And when I finish this, you can see it goes all the way up to the top. It doesn't cut the door, it cuts the wall. And you can see my wall is cut just fine here. But also when you come in and look at this one, that's the only way that that stacked wall actually worked, was to remove the opening and put in a void. So there was still issues, so why not try a void? Yeah, tried the void. So that is something that came up, and I found a way around it that works. It's just a larger void than what the size of the wall is. But like, again, I see this as a case-by-case basis, not something you would do on all your doors and stuff as you're going through. And if all else fails, just open it up. You try joining walls. If there's walls, doors that go in and windows that go into walls that are abutting each other, I've got an example of that. They may not want to do it, so they may not want to let it cut. It may cut top and bottom, may not cut left and right every time. And I've got the example over there where I've got, here's a wall, here's a wall. I just put them side, and the door cut everything but this one. Sometimes it's just a matter of going in. And why does Revit keep minimizing my browser? Cool. And I can't even get to it. Come here. If I go into this view, sometimes it's just a matter of opening it up. Just use a wall opening. You can just go in. When you pick on a wall, look up here. One of the things you got is wall opening. So modify the wall. And you come in here, and I'm just going to start it from here to here. Except my sweep doesn't want to work again. So that one still screws you up. I can't find a way of getting around that right now. So if I find a way, I'll put it in a blog post and link it back to this site. But sometimes you just want to, no, do not. Yes, it's wrong to edit profile. Don't edit profile. At all options, try to edit the profile. The pass-through, don't edit the profile. Just if you can keep from editing profile, please do. Please try to join it to something. Please try to do something like that with the wall. But yeah, so I'll just leave that one at that. So yeah, you can just use a wall opening. Pick on a wall, you just go pick on the wall and it's ready to start putting a rectangle around it and just do a wall opening that way. Sometimes that helps. Again, those sweeps are giving me a problem with that. If I find a way around it, I'll blog it, post it back here. Now, this was another question. We're running so close. A door that's not hosted by a wall. Somebody said, well, I need a gate. Well, multiple requests for gate type families, but they wanted to still schedule as a door, so therefore it has to be a door. Well, doors are hosted. So to change a door from having to be hosted, you can do that. For one thing, you can build a generic model that's not hosted and then turn it into a door. But if you already have the family built and want to use it as a non-hosted, there is a workaround, and I'm going to refer to a great answer by Paul Aubin. I would watch the video. We don't have time, so I'm going to start to talk you through the video. I will link the video. It's in the knowledge base. So I'm going to put a link for the video so you can go watch, because he is very good at detailing every step to do this. And I'm going to pull it up and bring it over here. And let me just get it going. And I'm going to talk you through, I'm going to fast forward and talk you through a little bit about what he's doing here. So he's got this. He's going to talk about this object right here. It is a wall-based, I think it's a fire extinguisher box. And one of the things that you can do, it's a fire extinguisher cabinet. It is specialty equipment. And it is wall-based. Now, he's going to take that object and he is going to link that project into another project so that he can copy and monitor. You cannot copy and monitor specialty equipment. So he turns it into mechanical equipment. He opens it up, changes it from specialty to mechanical. It's still all hosted, but he changes it to specialty, from specialty, and then he can do the copy monitor. So here he's showing you can't copy monitor that because it's specialty equipment. So then he's going to, this is where he's changing it into mechanical equipment. And he does a very good job. He explains every step by step. And I did get this for permission, Paul, and I talked this week, and I told him I would try to show this. I tried to get him to come in here, but he had a conflict with schedule. So now when you go to copy monitor the mechanical equipment, you get the little heartbeat monitor symbol. And then you can go and you can do, now he's going to change it then to specialty equipment, change it back. And now he's got it in the family, and now he can load it. But see, it's face-based. It's now face-based. It went from wall-based to face-based. So now, with it not being wall-based, he wanted to be able to put it on like a column or something. So now he's got to get it out. And then it's face-based when you bring it in. So now he's got to put it on a reference plane or something. Can't rotate it around without rotating that. So he goes back into it, and he deletes the wall. So now it's not based on anything. And he changes the name so it's no longer face-based. It's the FB face-based. Like I said, Paul is very meticulous about everything he does. That's why I love working with him. So then he's got the piece of equipment done. You can do the same thing with the door. You can go in, edit the door, change it to the mechanical equipment, which is something you can copy monitor. You can't copy monitor doors or specialty equipment. Then you can take it and you can open it up, change it to mechanical equipment, link it in somehow to a project, do a copy monitor, and then you've got one where you can place it, edit that one that you've got there. Like I said, Paul takes you through the step-by-step, and he does a very good job of it, very good job. So I'm gonna post the link to that video after this. Now, the other option, start from scratch, use a generic template, then change it to a door family. And then you've got that where you can work on it as a door. You can change it back to a door, and that way you can schedule it as such. Okay, we have reached Q&A. So what haven't we done? that we want to get into. What questions do we have now?
No new questions.
Oh, really? Come on, guys. You can challenge me now. This is like Donnia's on the spot.
I think everybody should get a little degree for that, a little micro degree for the opening and the voids and all that. I was trying to follow along. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things you can do, but when you realize that you don't have to play by the rules that you're given sometimes, like you don't have to have an opening. You can rip the opening out, man. It said he couldn't have a void cut the wall because there was an opening there. I'm like, no, there's not. You're out. And it worked. That's what worked for me. And it beats having to do something different with the wall sweeps. I hate to put wall sweeps in individually on a wall. I'd rather have them built in. So yeah, by doing it that way, I could cut through the, we're still having trouble with some of those wall sweeps and some of the others too, but they're insane, wall sweeps.
So if anybody has a question regarding what we're talking about today for Donnia, this is an excellent opportunity.
Yeah.
It's always awesome to get Donnia, but you don't always have Donnia at your fingertips and ready to answer your questions. You do now. All right, well, they're being shy. Or you just covered everything.
I covered everything, yeah.
Yeah. And when Donnia was referring to putting things in the chat, if you go to the event page at the bottom, we can always put new stuff in there. I'll let people know when I post the video recording in there so you can share it with people who didn't attend, to encourage them to attend the future ones. That's also where you'll see the link to the Paul Aubin one, or yeah, all the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the chats, when they've been, even after they're passed, we can continue to have conversations in this. So here's the first one I did on Revit templates, and you can see that there was 24 comments on it. Some of these comments ended up well past this that was going on. So at the bottom of this, there's all kinds of room for chats and things. So you can go in there and put your questions. And this is where I'll post links to things like Paul Aubin's his video. And like last month, we talked about breaking down doors and windows, and I finally got through with the array blog, and I put in the blog about the stacked walls, and I put that up, link that to the chat. So yeah, the chat is really something to keep it going.
At the end of this, I'll give everybody the link to the Voices blog where you're very active. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And I will post to the blog on the invisible line option, and also Paul's. I'll also send you to Paul's site also. I told him I would give him that also.
Excellent. So do you want to wrap up, Donnia? Do you want to?
I guess we can.
Yeah.
Give everybody a few minutes of their time back.
Remind them that we do have, your next one is August 18th.
Yes, and we're going to be doing view templates and filters, and how get them to work for me.
And then we will put some more on the calendar so you can schedule out your fall with Donnia.
This will be a great time for you to put in suggestions. I have had curtain walls come up, so it looks like I'll be doing a curtain wall version. This would be a great time to put in suggestions, put them in the chat and stuff if you don't want to put them in the questions right here. Anything that you'd like me to cover, I'm willing to tackle anything.
And Donnia, there's a blog post right there for Voices. We can just put in a forum, a survey forum, just that people link to it. You can just do a survey. I can create that for you and we can post it in there, or people can comment on the blog post. That would be even better.
Yes.
What do you want to see in the fall? So
that sounds wonderful. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas, just please post them and let me know what you want to cover, because I'll be more than happy to attack anything. Like I said, I ain't scared.
No, you are not. You are not. We hope to see you at AU. So I would love to have the Revit hints and hacks as a live in person as well as remote option. It'd be great as a hybrid. It'd be so much fun.
Yes. I'm gonna get there. I have to pay my own way. I'm coming.
Yeah. We'll work together on this.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, everybody.
All right. Thank you guys for attending today. I really enjoyed it.
All right, let's get to those last slides, and I'm going to give some links and everything. I got 2 slides to give us. So thank you everybody for joining us, and especially Donnia. I mean, thank you for all of this. Let's go to the next slide. You can explore the many ways to connect in the Autodesk community, including the global network of user groups, the industry-focused communities, helping your colleagues solve business challenges together, the Autodesk Forums, staying connected with us on Twitter, also the blog. We talked about Donnia as an author on the Voices blog. You could be an author on the Voices blog. I think David should be an author on the Voices blog. He's got to be an expert on everything by now.
Yes.
But I'm going to paste those links in there now. The recording, like I said, will be on the event page, so that's at the top there. Let's see, and then the next, please. I think it's just the final thank you.
That's it. Yes.
Thank you for attending today. Again, we welcome your feedback, and just that there's a quick little survey at the end. It just takes a second. Let people let us know what you liked or what we could do in the future for you. And a reminder that July we take off, so there's no community conversations in July. So hey, thank you, Ray. Awesome session. Thank you, Matt. Thanks, Donnia. Great tips or hacks.
Yes.
Both, Matt. Good to see you. I didn't see you lurking in here. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. When we have these AEC sessions, I'm always watching for David. Like, all right, we can't go until David's here. Thank you, Libby. Great
Appreciate the
feedback,
comments.
Donnia. All right, well, everybody have a great rest of your day. If you're interested in Dynamo, in another hour, there'll be a Dynamo session with Saul, and they're going to be connecting Dynamo to Alias, so complex surfaces and all that kind of good stuff, not patterning. So, all right, talk to you later.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Bye.